Hey guys, I don't know if it's working now. I think I've just been talking to the camera for some time thinking it was operational. I don't think it was. So there we go. It was one of those moments where you suddenly think, oh dear, is the stream actually operational? And no, it wasn't. It is now though, by the looks of it. So what I'm going to do is try and redo the whole of the last sort of 3-4 minutes of talking, where I was just chatting away to myself in the shoe sanctuary. Miss EDDBUD probably thinks I've completely lost it this time. Maybe I have. Big shout out to Matt Strickland with the super chat. Thank you, Matt. I am here. All systems are go. We are in the house. Let's get back to the top of the chat. Chris McFarlane's in the place. Cheeks of 777 is here, always here, for the live streams and the videos. I do appreciate your never-ending support. It's fantastic. Niels is in the house too. Robin as well. Names I see very, very often on the comments of the videos. He says he's happy to see the live streams returning. I'm glad they're back as well. We got Stephen C 1984. He's in the place too, and Life Force as well. Matt 852. He says he's a long-time EDDBUD fan. First live stream. He would love to see me do a simultaneous shoe and album review. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can come up with. I may have to lower the pace down a little bit. Maybe sort of 9 minutes a mile or something. Or else it will just be like an edit fest all the way. So I'll see what I can do there. Neil says, what made me choose the Next Percent 2 over any other shoe? Mainly due to the fact that I had that very late, I say late start, I guess it was. I didn't get to bed till about 1:30 in the morning. And of course the race was at 9. When I realised the gratuity of the task that I had to try to do, it was never going to happen with anything else. So I needed to go with a shoe that I just knew would work for me on the day. I wasn't really happy going out in that new pair of Alpha Flies, an untested shoe on a race. Not a good idea. The Puma, maybe I want to get a few more miles into that one, but yeah, I looked at the stack on the Next Percent and thought that's going to get me through the race. Yeah, next time hopefully I won't have like a gig that ends at midnight and then of course I've got to pack away all the gear and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much why I selected that one. Thanks again to Matt Strickland for the super chat. Very much appreciated, Matt. Hope you've been enjoying the content of recent time. I really do appreciate that. It helps the channel out a lot. Chris Townsend's here. We got Cheeks to 777, of course. Lifeforce says, should have gone with the Meta Racer on Sunday. Oh, it wouldn't have worked for me, the Meta Racer. Aside from the cobbled section, I think the Next Percent was probably the best choice there. The Meta Racer, I just think it would have just been a bit lacking for the already tired legs. Yeah, Beast has been causing a bit of havoc in here, Gavin, but sadly it wasn't her fault this time, it was me. I will fully admit that. Orange Goblin says, Beast has eaten Ed. Beast was very hungry earlier, but not quite that hungry yet. Mark T. Running's in the place. We got Rob Weatherall as well in the house. Mark Breeze too. He's glad to catch one of the live streams. Nice to have you here, Mark. Arnold Breach is here too. We got Willie. He's ready for the free shoe giveaway. That will be happening soon, Willie. I have hidden a couple of secret things in past videos over the last sort of 2 weeks, and hopefully people will be able to spot those. They will form part of some of the questions needed to enter the giveaway. You know I was going to do something weird. You know I was going to do something weird, guys. Robin says that the UA shoe is no beauty. I actually really like the look of it. I think it's a really nice looking shoe. There is like a fluorescent kind of luminous yellow version of it, which is even better. I really like that one. Mike Gamb's in the place. Frankie GTH is here from France by the looks of it. Thanks for tuning in. Tom Clowes, and we've got Chris Townsend and Samantha Williamson is here as well. There's lots of new names. It's good to see. Thanks for joining us today, guys. I'm going to try and stay up with the comments because I always get kind of left behind. Floren K is here, catching the live stream in Berlin. Oh, Floren, I tell you what, if I can get my hands on a pair of the Berlin version of the Adios Pro 2, oh my word, I need that shoe. I'm checking the Adidas website every sort of 15-20 minutes just in case somebody's like sent one back or something. But no dice yet. I'm going to keep trying though. Stephen Grimley says, are you sitting down or standing up? Definitely standing up, and I'm not wearing a onesie. It's sort of like a floral number. And I've got the cologne here as well. I've got a little cologne on because, you know, just makes the shoe sanctuary smell even better. In sort of the cat and shoes. Otherwise, that's what you smell. Kevin Stevenson says, yo, chat room. Yo. Thanks for joining us today, Kevin. Ozenfant Backtrows is here as well. Andy Young, he sent a message, but then he retracted it. I was going to say redacted it, but that's not the case. And Eric B is here. Just raced a 5k and want to move up to the half marathon. How long do you think does it take to train? So you want to go up very slowly in increments there, really, from the 5k. What I'd look into is doing some longer, much slower runs, so building up to that distance. How long did it take me to sort of build up to doing that? I'd suggest it was probably a good sort of 6 months until I felt I could really race the half marathon distance from doing a 5k. So yeah, take it nice and slow. Don't go up in terms of mileage too quickly, and slowly build it up. And in the end, half marathon just feels like nothing. It just feels like a mere couple of sands of time falling through the hourglass. Brendan Cam says, why, hello there. Hello. I was feeling inadequate about my height watching you and Andy, so I picked up the Primax. Yeah, we're big dudes. I tell you what, Andy is very... I was kind of like this, you know, he's even taller than me. And I had big shoes on too. So that just goes to show how tall Andy is. It was absolutely fantastic to meet him in person. He's such a lovely guy, just a genuine, humble sort of fella, and it'll be great to do some runs together. I think we're going to try and meet up halfway or something at some point in the near future, and that'll be amazing. It's just to chat with him, and you know, we can hang out for a bit. That'll be really cool. A really lovely bloke, and what a time! So what a runner! And yeah, in terms of the stride, the guy's got legs that are like, I look like a rat or something compared to Andy. His legs are so long. And it also makes me realise that, you know, you don't have to have this super crazy fast cadence for it to work, you know. If I run like with a really fast cadence like that, I just look a little bit like Roadrunner. Roger Bacon is here. He says, hi, big fan from the States. Thanks for tuning in, Roger. We appreciate it. I've lost Roger's message now, and there's like thousands of messages. He's looking to train for his first half marathon. Any cross training? I goes. Do you mean cross training? All I ever say about running is just lots of dynamic stretching before and after, making sure you rest really well. So get out of doing any yard work, anything like that. Use whatever excuse you can, just resting up a lot. Tends to help. Andy Young, he says, evening Ed, entered my first ever race this weekend, half marathon, fantastic. There's nothing like the half marathon distance. It's a good one. I'm not sure I'd want to like race the marathon you couldn't race it all the time, could you? I want to build up some key marathon races. But at the half, you can do it every few weeks. It doesn't pull that much out of you to be able to do that. Cubba Stu says he's got some Saucony speeds for the Loch Ness Marathon in 10 days. Awesome. I hope they serve you well, sir. And they propel you on to a good time there. Kevin says, Ed, you look like a baked potato in that lovely sunshine. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. I would love one of those seal caps, actually. They look really cool. I always used to really like the look of the guy that used to organise the New York Marathon. His name escapes me now, but he always used to wear one of those caps, and they're awesome. Yeah, the only issue I have with caps is I just overheat. I just genuinely overheat if there's stuff on my head. I ended up pouring loads of water all over myself, and that felt good. But caps did seem to make my head even hotter. Yeah, shades and just, loads of sun cream on my head is the way forward, I think. And the obligatory EDDBUD sweatband as well. Chris says that he thinks he did the right choice really with the alphas on the cobbled section. Yeah, I think I would have been bouncing around like Zebedee on those. That's a nasty little bit, that cobbled part. Mark T running, so it was great to see Andy and myself together. Yeah, it was cool to meet up with him. Neil says, do I ever get sent shoes? How often do I buy them with my own Earth credits? I don't get sent shoes all that often, really. There's a couple of different ones I've been sent recently. The rest I just buy. So, yeah, Puma sent me a few things. I've got the Magnify Nitro to test out. And recently Under Armour as well. So, yeah, it's nice to receive a few different things as well. Things I perhaps wouldn't have thought about trying. And to test those out, it's quite refreshing. Kind of clears the palate. A little bit like a nice little appetizer or something. Aperitif or something. Just cleanses the feet. Yeah? You know what I mean. Yeah, Joe Mullins in the house says, long time no stream. Good to see you here, Joe. Hope you're doing okay, buddy. Tony Potter says, free shoes. Just 2 will be fine for me, Ed. Yeah, you need 2 for a pair. That's the way it works. I don't think Andy's 7 foot tall, Mark. I think he's probably like about maybe 3 or 4 inches taller than me. So maybe like 6'7", something like that. You make a good basketball player, that's all I know. Yeah, I don't think Andy particularly liked the cobbled pit part as well. Richard Rendell's here. Hello, Richard. Good to see you. I'm just going to have a swig of this elixir that I've got here. It's good elixir. Yeah, I feel really like Lazarus raised, Phoenix from the flames. Gavin says, anyone else doing the Royal Parks half on the 10th of October? No, not doing that one. I bet there's some other runners here that are doing that one, Gavin. Karabat says, hi Ed, nice half marathon. What's your favourite running movie? Again, there's that one about the New York Marathon. And that chap that kind of started it up, he was a cool guy. He was one cool dude. I really, really like that guy. He had a good vibe about him. He had the weirdness, and you need the weirdness. Because people like the weirdness. I think being yourself. There's a young chap got hold of me the other day. He runs a little YouTube channel. And he said, what can I do to make my videos better? And I just said, be yourself. Absolutely be yourself. Don't try and be like anybody else. Just get to the core of what makes you special and gives you character. That's the most important thing in life. Now, Frank, I might use the Alpha Fly on the Salisbury half marathon. And the reason I want to do that is because I feel really bad that I bought those Alpha Flies and I haven't used them yet. Every day I think about that shoe. It's sat there waiting in the box like an unoiled cog. I need to get it out and I need to use it. I have listened to some Minor Threat, Vincent, yes, and I enjoyed it. It was an enjoyable experience. I've been listening to a lot of different things recently. Very quiet, calm acoustic music and some more sort of vicious stuff as well. So thank you for that recommendation. Frank says I smell great. I know, Frank, I've turned on the smell-o-vision today, so hopefully you can smell that, and it's coming through loud and clear. Tom Clow says his virtual London Marathon pack came today. Not as exciting as I thought. Is that something you can still enter now, or is that all sort of shut, the virtual thing? Because I would have thought they just want as many people as possibly can to do the virtual thing, right? That makes a lot of sense, with perhaps the diminished ability for charities and people like that to run of recent time. Maybe that isn't the case, I don't know. Stephen C says, what did you do for nutrition and hydration? That is a very good question, sir. Very good question. So what I did was I pretty much picked out where the drink stations were going to be. And they would just have water bottles, and they were those great ones that kind of have the clip top. So I took several swigs of those. I think it was about 2.5 miles. And then on the return, so I think that was maybe about 5 miles, maybe 5 or 6 miles. And then there was another one around about 8.5. So I had a couple of gels, took one of those at 4 and one of those at 8.5 miles, and that seemed to kind of work. I wish I'd taken the second one a little bit earlier. I think it would have helped me quite considerably by that point. I was beginning to run out of juice. Well, I'd run out of juice at the start of the race because I was just exhausted from, like a 2.5 hour gig the night before, which it's madness when you think about it, really. I'm surprised I managed to make it round. But in that time, I was really happy. That's a race PR for me. 1 hour 31:48, I think it was. I've got to be happy with that. That's some progress in a race environment with everything against me. So perhaps at Salisbury, with everything for me, it might work out a little better. But that was the plan, and it kind of worked. The Jungle Massive Beats worked pretty well, Mark. I wished I'd had that the whole time. When I got into the Andrew WK stuff, it got a bit too emotional, and I just wish I'd stuck with a bit of Andy C, sound control, that type of stuff, just to get me round the last part of the course. Kunal Popat says, can he go from a stability to a neutral shoe? I don't see why not. This kind of line that's drawn between stability shoes and neutral shoes, I find it's a little bit blurred these days. I think that shoe technology's improved so much that we don't need these very rigid kind of pieces placed into shoes to provide support. What I'd suggest is, Kunal, is if you test out something beforehand, so try a different couple of pairs of shoes, see what kind of works for you, try and hone in on something from that aspect. If you've got the ability to do that, that really does help out. Yeah, stability, I'm not really sure about it. I know people that needed stability shoes, or supposedly were told they needed stability shoes, and it just did a lot more damage than good, really. So I'm not really sure about it all. Florian K says, I was checking them out today ahead of the marathon on Sunday. Unfortunately, only available in tiny sizes. They're fire. Yeah, they are beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Hopefully they'll have some more coming up in the future. They'll drop a few more pairs. I really hope so. Matt Strickland says EDDBUD. Yeah, I'm not even sure what it is. It's a Beckham one. It's a David Beckham one. It smells pretty good though. If David Beckham smells like that, then he can always come around my house. No problem. Chris McFarlane says, how do I clean my trainers? The do's and definitely don'ts. Yeah, definitely don't put them in the washing machine. Absolutely not a good idea. It just feels wrong. Everything about it. I'm not sure. I just like to actually do it with the couple of different brushes, so a softer one and a harder one. Obviously being a bit careful on some of the midsole materials, and just getting some cold water and a bit of the old dish soap in there. It just seems to work a treat. Obviously with trail shoes and things like that, sometimes you just got to get out there with the hose pipe and just give them a damn good hosing down. That's the only way. So that's pretty much that. Mike Gam says, Ed Old Spice Bud. I remember there was one called, was it Blue Stratos, wasn't there? I really like that. Why isn't there a shoe called the Stratos? That would be an amazing name for a shoe. Menu says, hello Ed, which shoe's the best for a 5k race? First ever race, I'm currently training the Freightwide NG3, what a shoe, and the Velocity Nitro. Absolutely okay racing in the float rides, your take? I don't know, maybe if you're really enjoying the Puma one, try and pick up the Liberate Nitro, which is just like a really, really light sort of short distance shoe. That could be an absolute winner. And they're super cheap as well, so see if you can find one of those, Menu. I think that'll work out really well for you. Frank says, when and what's the marathon going to be? I don't know really, Frank. I need to look into that. I'll go and run one then, just see how I get on, you know. You know me, I'll just give it a shot, see what happens. As long as I've got some water and a few tunes, it'll be cool. I mean tunes as in my ears, not those little throat sweets you can buy. Do they still sell those? Tunes? Remember those? Ian Reeves says, good to see you flying past the other side of the portway. Tough half, I thought. 1:36 for me. Didn't quite manage to catch you. That's a good time, buddy. Brilliant time, Ian. Great running, man. And a FOD runner in the house. Good to see you here, man. Hope you're nice and rested up from the other day. And you've got to sort of rest those big old legs. And he's in the house. Joe says 12 weeks since his last run. Joe, I hope the recovery is coming on, my friend. It will bring some warmth to my heart when you get back out there, when I see that you're running again. So please do continue that good recovery. Hopefully everything's going well, my friend. Gavin says Andy's ears must be burning. He's here, he's in the house. Kevin Andersex says getting a pair of the Dragonfly tomorrow. They are fantastic. So light. I really want to get back out on the track. I think there was a bit of an issue last week at the track with my running club. Sadly, somebody who attended on the Friday session had COVID, so they've had to sort of, get everyone to test themselves and do all that sort of jazz. But yeah, the Dragonfly are such a light shoe. You will find that it's kind of like, I know Tim Gross has used this analogy, but it's kind of like half a next percent. They really are fantastic. Enjoy. Chris Townsend says it would be great to do a group meetup. Have you considered organising a run group? Yeah, I think that would be a cool thing to do, perhaps at another event. I might even see, if there's enough people there at Salisbury to do that maybe beforehand. That would be cool. Run Tommy, Ed, switching between you and the Saucony Pro 10K. Oh, debut of the lighter Endorphin. They're only going to make 6,000. I'll tell you what, I think it's a little bit getting towards a off-white type situation. They're going, oh, this, super shoe, the best shoe ever. Oh, but now we've made a better version of it with less upper and perhaps what it perhaps should have been in the first place. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, that. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Especially that it's kind of like less shoe and more cost. And I've still got to get loads of miles into that Pro too. So, yeah, it's cool that they're doing that. I just wish they'd perhaps minimise the upper a bit on the Speed 2, and it would just kind of stand out to me a little bit more. Midsole Now. Yeah, I have launched some new merch, guys. The Midsole Now stuff, so go and check that out. I've got a smell test one coming as well, so look out for that towards the end of the week. That'll be available too, because I know everyone loves the smell test. The smell... Kev Stenner says Track Friday. I may come to the track. I'm toying with the idea of doing a park run on Saturday. Getting out there with the camera and sort of, meeting a few people and saying hi. Because it's kind of ignited wanting to run with like other people again, and I kind of feel a little safer in that now. Frankie GTH says, hi Andy, from France. Yeah, hopefully he's still in here. Tim says, evening Ed, Tim Cardiff here, looking to run the Manchester Half in a couple of weeks, in under 2 hours. Any good trainer recommendations? The Rocket X is a shoe I really enjoy. Very, very light, quite fun and nimble, no bells and whistles. I would say if you want a carbon plate shoe for minimum amount of earth credits, that's the one to go for. In fact, I've got a little feeling of running in that one tomorrow. I might get out early and get a few miles in the Rocket X. Cut down the mileage a little bit this week just to let the legs sort of rest and recuperate. Ed is in the house. He says his first ever half at the past weekend with a time of 1:57. Fantastic, great running, my friend. Hoping to get faster for the next. Keep on working at it. Keep on getting out there each and every day. It does make a difference. Keith Shoemaker here. Got into the live Boston field after they filled the field. I did notice about that. Unfortunately, I have a race marathon a week ago. Oh, oh no. It always works out that way sometimes. Robin says, running Rotterdam Marathon now in a bit more than 4 weeks. Awesome, man. I'd really like to do one of the European marathons. That'd be awesome, You can get to places now as well. Yeah, something like that. I'd like to get over and do one of those European marathons. I wish you the best of luck with that one, Robin. You've set off some things in my mind now about going over and doing one of those. Mark T says Stella. It is. It's sadly really quite warm now as well. It's kind of like train Stella. Frankie says, question. Vaporfly version 2 or the Adios Pro 2 for a 10k. I think if I was going to run a 10 again, I'd probably use the next percent. Yeah, I think I'd go for that. Or maybe even drop it down to the original, the Vaporfly, 4%, the Flyknit. Just less shoe. I hope they release that Street Fly soon. I really do. That is a shoe I really want. There's two shoes I really want right now. Is that and that Takumi Sen 8. That is potentially like a lighter version of that. I mean, who doesn't want that? That could be like the ultimate shoe in a long time. I didn't expect I was going to love the Adios 6 that much, but that Takumi Sen 8, it just, everything about it, the colours, the profile, it just looks so sweet. Sorry, I'm back guys, I'm back. Class says, running the Amsterdam marathon on the 17th. Says, hi Ed, love the channel and greetings from Holland. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. I bet there's some other people here running the same event, so do try and meet up with those guys. Gaza says, hi Ed, hi chat, sorry for being late. You are excused, sir. You're excused. It's great to have you here. Panel Sam says, hi Ed, love to hear your thoughts about the Magnifying Nitro, especially for long runs. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that could be where that one sits, Panos. I'm thinking in terms of the little extra weight there and the cushion that it could be a very good long run shoe. Rob Watling needs advice from the London runners. What's the best place to grab a pint after the London Marathon? There's many good places. I used to quite like some of the places up in North London. Up in Hampstead, up near the Heath there were some good pubs there, proper old school style. Guys, if you are in the chat and you haven't done so already, hit that like button. It really does help us out to get out to more people, to spread the EDDBUD magic across the land. Something like that, anyway. When will we see a room tour? Once I've tidied up a bit, Niels. It's a bit of a mess in here. Frank says, Beast is unbeatable. Beast has been causing a lot of problems recently, involving paint, involving food, involving waking people up at ungodly hours. I'm talking really ungodly times that people should not be awake, even for running. We got a super chat there from Kevin Stevenson with a question. Thank you, Kevin. He says, what do you think about writing your half marathon race time on the midsole of the shoes you wore? I'm doing it after my half this Sunday. I think if perhaps I was going to, if I'd set a PR or something, I'd write right on there. I don't see why not. I know a lot of people do that, so they've got that sort of memory of doing it in that shoe. I guess if you're doing a few different events, you know, you might have to cross it out after a while and put in your new PR. But I don't see why not. Thank you very much for the super chat, though. It is very much appreciated. Cubba Stu says, on Strava your training runs seem way slower than your last half race. Is that how to do it? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, race times and paces are always going to be a little bit different, so you should be integrating some of that race pace speed into your training. So quite often I'll do maybe 7 miles. I'll do a mile warm-up, maybe about 8 minutes per mile, and then raise up maybe for a couple of miles to race pace for a half marathon, drop it back down and recover for a mile, and then maybe a couple more at that race pace. So that is the way to do it. You shouldn't be running, you know, loads and loads of very, very fast miles during training. I tend to keep it about 80-20. So 80% in that kind of slower aerobic or lower sort of pace, and then hitting it up into threshold or beyond for that other 20. So running nice and easy, or running, you know, towards your faster race paces. That seems to work for me. I avoid injury, touch wood, and feeling good, and the legs are feeling powerful and strong. So that's the way. Kevin Church, thank you for the musical recommendation there. We'll check that out. Richard, I did see the winner. Yes, got disqualified. He was supposed to be running the 10K at the Great Bristol Half, but ran the half and won, but they disqualified him because he wasn't registered for the half marathon. I can kind of understand that, really. You've got to be registered for a race. You can't just sort of turn up and run it, I suppose. It might be on part of the same course, but yeah, he was definitely down to do the 10 rather than the full marathon. Canal, glad that helped out. Thanks for tuning in and being with us here today in the chat. George says, what should other brands do to better the Nike Super Shoes? Or what should be the Vaporfly 3? That'll be very interesting. I bet they tailor the midsole a little bit. And probably they'll tinker with the upper. And I bet they will add the fly print upper that you're going to see on that new Alpha Fly shoe. Which you guys have probably seen. Nike are set to launch that soon on the app. It's £295. It is ridiculous. That is just... it's scandalous, to be quite honest with you. It's crushed up Zoom X in the shape of that Alpha Fly Zoom X midsole and a new upper that's made of recycled stuff, and they're charging, you know, another 35 quid for it. It's scandalous. Nike should be ashamed of that. I really am. I just find it ridiculous now. I'm sorry, Nike. It's just, that's not happening. Not going anywhere near that shoe. Peter Kirk says, Ed, what's your unfinished business with the Salisbury Half? So when I ran it before, a couple of years back, Peter, I got to about mile 8, 9 and had a dreadful nosebleed, which kind of, yeah, fouled it all up for me. So hopefully this time it won't happen. At that point, I was really going great guns as well. So I'm hoping this time it could be an opportunity to scrape a little bit of time off of my PR from the weekend on the half distance. So we shall see. Let's hope I arrive there in good health and fitness. Matt Ware, he says, ramped up the mileage, admittedly too fast and dealing with pain above the knee. Any strength exercises you would suggest? And hello from Kansas. Awesome, Matt. Hope you're recovering okay. Make sure to do some of that dynamic stretching beforehand. It will really help a great deal. When you get back, do a little more, keeping the feet up, a little bit of rolling here and there, back to the legs and the front. It will help a great deal. Cheeks to 777's given us an Arsenal update. It's 1-0. Yeah, Lacazette, good to see him get onto the score sheet. Things are looking up a little bit more now. A few clean sheets would be good as well, showing that we're improving in defence and slowly creeping up. And the gap isn't quite as bad between us and Spurs now. Not that that is the be-all and end-all of life, but it's certainly important. Danielle says, will a Turbo 3 ever arrive? I don't think we'll see one now. I think they've benched that shoe for the considerable future, which is really sad because it is one of those shoes that really worked for me and worked for loads of other people as well. So I think they've probably benched it due to concerns about the midsole separation. I just don't think they've found a way of doing that yet without it sort of falling to bits. Mine were okay though. They were fine. That Invincible run thing though, just it's breaking apart. It's bits are falling off it. And I've only been using it to walk, so it's a bit odd. Workout like Woolham says, I was running 100 miles to British Heart Foundation. Fortunately, a sudden increase in miles a week and new trainers don't treat me well. Oh dear, new trainers Rebel 2. Yeah, I mean the Rebel 2 is a very soft shoe. What I would look at is something with a little bit more of a firm underfoot feel. Look maybe towards some of the Saucony stuff, maybe even the Speed, you know. That's still forgiving, but nowhere near as squashy. And some people do find that. I know Tim Gross has been struggling with the Rebel 2 a little bit. He just finds it far too compressive. I don't really find it though. I find it quite a good sort of daily shoe, really. It just kind of ticks lots of boxes for me, I suppose.
Try says, greetings from Austin, Texas. How much time or distance are you allowed to break in a new pair of shoes for a full marathon? I would suggest doing a slightly longer effort in the shoes, see how you fare. Let's not forget that when you're running that type of distance, you are going to have a bit of an increase in the sort of mass of the foot. It's going to swell up. So you do need to be extremely careful that the shoe's going to work for you like that. I would recommend also using the same kit if you can. So the same socks, shorts and all the other stuff that you're going to use for the race. Certain shoes need a bit more braking. I found that the Saucony Endorphin Speed needed a fair few miles before it felt good. Something like the RC Elite 2, that it didn't really need any braking at all. It was pretty sweet out of the box. Same with the Next Percent as well. It just feels good out of the box. So I don't think you need too much braking on most shoes these days. Paul Hamilton says he saw me at the Bristol Half but didn't get a chance to say hi. He got himself a PB 133. Fantastic running, Paul. Sorry you didn't get a chance to say hello. That is great running. Well done, my friend. David Borg says, best Adidas trainer for easy runs. I really like the Solar Boost 3 if you just want to run easy. That's such a smooth shoe that transitions just wonderfully kind of easy. It doesn't ever feel like you need to put tons of effort in there. If you just want to run those nice slow miles and watch the squirrels and enjoy the trees, that's the shoe. I really like that one. Florian K says, I'm a homer of course, but I can highly recommend entering the lottery for Berlin. Odds are decent to get in. Yeah, I might have a go at that for next year. I'd love to come over to Berlin. That would rock. Mano is in the house. It's loving the vlogs and music vibes lately. I'm glad that you're enjoying those tunes. And that Krungbin track as well. That video, Mano, is wonderful, isn't it? He says, have you heard War on Drugs? Recent stuff. Yes, I have. I'm looking forward to that album. I think it's going to be a real winner. Yeah, veggie pizza does the trick for me. I do like vegetable pizza. I just like pizza in general, really. Pizza with loads of jalapeno peppers and on there. That really does the trick for me. Pasta with cheese. Oh, Mrs. Edbird made the most wonderful food for me on Sunday after the half marathon. We had tagliatelle with some cheese, some jalapenos. Oh, it was magic. Absolute magic. Life Force says the Prime X is fun. I did see that Ben Parks had picked those up and he had a go in the Prime X. I haven't watched that video yet. I do want to see how he gets on. Ben's always very honest in his opinions on shoes, so yeah, it'd be great to see if they worked out for him. It just, for me right now, trying something real crazy like that, I'm probably not going to do that. I want to keep myself in fine fettle, ready for Salisbury in a couple of weeks. Well, sort of a bit over a week. Looking forward to it already. Martin Hugman says 131 for a half is a dream, so his best 152. He hopes to get 150. Keep plugging away there. Keep running, getting those miles in, Martin. You will get there. Ocon O'Connor says, any rumours on the Peg 39? Nothing as of yet, aside from those images that we saw a little while back on the running shoe, yay or nay. But I'm sure it won't be long. Joshua says, how long should a typical half plan be? I tend to work in sort of blocks of about 10 weeks or so. With a half, I mean, it depends what sort of fitness you're at. I think you can kind of alter the amount of effort and mileage that you need to put in to build up to it, to get yourself in the right place. So you could probably look to that. Very much about what sort of time you want to get to and what fitness you're at. Benzo said, I saw you yesterday, you live in Yeovil. Yep, that's me. I saw you yesterday, give me a shout out. Awesome. When you see me again, wave or shout, give me a shout out. Cameron UK says, hi all, thanks for joining us. We got King Power 10 is in the house. Ran a half marathon PB at the weekend of 120. Amazing stuff. And the Endorphin Pro, spent the whole race cursing myself for my poor lockdown. Left heel was slipping. Yeah, I think they fixed it a little bit in the Pro 2. It does seem to, I guess, it does seem to improve the kind of midfoot lock a little bit. I didn't find it anywhere near as difficult to dial it in as with the first version of the shoe. Jacob says there's nothing wrong in making a business out of providing shoes for the people. Absolutely. Austin Fant says, Ed, what's your nutrition like during taper week? I've got a trail marathon coming at 10 days' time, and all I know is about carb loading like a madman. I don't tend to do anything majorly different. Maybe the 2 days perhaps before the race, just so I'm a little bit more reserved, I suppose. I always like pasta. It's good for me. It just works quite well. Making sure I eat lots of fruit. Bananas are good. Sticking away from more acidic kinds of fruit seems to work quite well for me. I just recommend doing things that aren't too different to what you normally do. And I got that from reading the biography of Pierluigi Collina, the famous Italian referee. He used to go around the world, around Italy, refereeing games, and he would always go to the same restaurant before each game, or when he was in a certain place or town or city, and have the same meal each time, because he knew that his stomach would be able to process that fine. It would give him lots of energy, and it would allow him to perform at the optimum level, which is probably why he's one of the greatest referees of all time. That guy was so consistent, and also he kept the players in check, didn't he? He didn't take any messing about. He wouldn't allow for that. He'd just give them the stern eyes, and they would realise that they had to behave themselves. Eogan says, come on the Gunners. Yeah, he's a gunner too. That's good news. And Elaz says, sorry, it was late. It was on Swift. That's quite all right. Thanks for joining us. Sam's in the house. Says, hi Ed. Running first half marathon in mid-October. What's your number one tip for the race? Making sure that you arrive in the general race area with lots of time. You do not want to be rushing about. You're going to forget things then. Just making sure you, the night before, have everything out that you need. So it's all there. All you got to do is just pick everything up and off you go. So you're minimising what can go wrong, maximising your chances of just being able to concentrate on the race. Even though we arrived with loads of time at the half marathon on Sunday, we still ended up queuing for ages and ages to use the toilets. So yeah, give yourself lots of time to get the business done. Tom George says, love your work, Ed. Any tips on helping my wife, except that having 12 shoes in my rotation isn't unreasonable? That seems like a very reasonable thing to me, Tom. And if this is Tom's wife listening, then that's absolutely okay. There are many other things in life that are much more dangerous than running shoes. In fact, Tom is improving his fitness, and that's going to have multiple benefits all round, including... yeah, I'm really striking out now. Yeah, 12 is fine. Absolutely fine. 20 even, you know, just giving you a bit of extra room there, Tom, to operate. Mr. Random says, how am I getting on with the UA Mega? There'll be a review coming up later on. It might be quite late this evening, but I'm going to work into the wee hours and get it done for you. By candlelight. You can imagine me there editing and painstakingly putting it together, you know, ready for you guys. So, yeah, that's what will be happening after this. David says, greetings from Germany. Lots and lots of German viewers in today. Thanks for joining us, David. It's much appreciated. Street Fly February 2022. It's ages away yet. It seems like a lifetime. The Takumi Sen will be in my hands before that, and I'll be able to experience its goodness. Martin says, do you consider the Adi Zero Pro to be soft, comfortable shoe compared to the Boston 10? Yes, I would wear that every day over the Boston 10. Absolutely. Nightmare shoes, that Boston 10 is going to be in there this year, guys. Come October, you know, end of October time. That will be there. I know it. I just don't get it. I don't get the Boston 10 at all. Especially in the higher sizes. It's a clog. Joshua says, Alphafly or Carbon X for the half? Alphafly all the way. Carbon X is another shoe I don't get. I get the Rocket X. Great shoe. Carbon X just feels like packing foam under my foot now. Now I've tried a load of other stuff out. I know some people really get on with them. I just can't get into it. Runs like a donkey. What's that Under Armour shoe behind you? That is the Hover Mega 2 clone. So yeah, look out later. There'll be a review up for that very soon. Cuba Stu got a 138 PB in the Plymouth half 2 weeks ago. Fantastic. Brilliant effort there. Struggle to maintain speed over the 10 miles. That is the key. What I would recommend is doing some sort of 2 miles on, 2 miles off type situations till you get up to past 10, get into 13, 14 miles, and your body just starts to get used to it after a while, running at that faster pace. Or maybe run a load of really slow miles up to about 8 or 9 and then power through up to about half with some faster pace miles to get your legs still operating while they're tired at that pace. That really helps. Yeah, I do keep saying about the name of that Saucony shoe, Phil H, that it's called the Pro Plus. Yeah, I can remember many students back in the days trying to finish their like reports and dissertations and stuff, and that was the thing. It'd be good if they made the shoe upper out of caffeine, like coffee beans or something. That'd be kind of cool. Tayfun asks, what's my winter shoes? I'll tell you what I am going to pick up, which I've seen, is that Pegasus Shield. There's a new version. So I will pick up a pair of those to test those out. I really enjoyed the Pegasus from this year. So hopefully the Shield version will not let me down. Derek says, what's it like trying to race but carry a camera? It would annoy the hell out of me. It was only a tiny little GoPro thing, so it wasn't that irritating at all. I kind of forgot I had it actually at one point and then thought, oh, I better take some more footage. So it kind of just disappeared and I didn't really think about it all that much. There was a user earlier, it's not very often I have to do this with the channel, guys. There was a user that was just moaning and, as usual, complaining. I think they've done it for years and I just couldn't handle it anymore and I just had to block them from the channel. I can't understand why someone just chooses to be negative like that all the time. And it's just being obtuse as well, just being obtuse and negative. I just thought, no, sorry. And that was all about why did I carry 2 watches and a GoPro and all this and then moan about shoe weight. I wasn't moaning about shoe weight ever over the last week, 2-3 weeks. In fact, the last video I made about shoe weight was I wasn't really going to worry about it anymore. So yeah, there we go, rant over. Just can't be doing with the negative stuff. Positive only. Positive only. Nubetra says, is that the Hover Machina? No, it's the Mega 2 clone. Quite different, very different upper, in fact. Rob's enjoying the live chat. He got the Vaporfly 2s recently, but they're unfortunately leaving his Achilles tendon sore and painful. Should I still run in them? No. If they're doing that sort of thing to you, I would certainly look at the fit if you're getting some Achilles pain there. I've certainly not had any issues with mine from that aspect. So I'd definitely look around for some other options there. If you're going to do a marathon, you need them to be able to operate for you without any pain whatsoever. Scotty B says, hi Ed, did you talk about your fueling? Yeah, very simple really. In the morning, a little toast with some butter, lightly salted butter, and a cup of coffee. Lots of water when we're in the car heading out. And then I only use 2 gels, one around about 4, one 8.5 miles, I think it was. And water when it was available, which was about 3 occasions on the course. Could have done with perhaps a little bit more water, but it was never going to save me from the overall tiredness. Mr. Random, the Beast will ensure that you get the mega review out. Yeah, the beast will be down there irritating me until I go to bed. That is how it works exactly, Mr. Random. Imad says, have I reviewed the Structure 24? No, I do have another Nike shoe incoming though, but I'm going to leave that as a bit of a surprise. And hopefully it's just something that no one else seems to have reviewed. I don't know why. But I haven't thought about the Structure 24. It's just a little bit too much of the structural element there. I don't need. I think there's other people out there that probably have already covered that one and will do it a little more justice. Work like William says, got the Pegasus 38 and Rebel 2. Pegasus feels really hard underfoot. I think it's probably yes. The Rebel 2's altered your perception. I don't want to run in soft shoes all the time. In fact, I quite like running in a slightly heavier shoe now. I've found that that's really built up the speed and the pace now. My legs are stronger from running in those slightly heavier shoes. A lot from this one actually, from the Adidas 6. I can now run at those, 5k paces in that, whereas I couldn't before. Rob says, yeah, Carbon X bit poor. It just doesn't work for me. Maybe it's meant as like an ultra shoe, but I don't know. There's lots of things I just don't get about it. Guy with a bike says shorts. He likes split shorts for racing, but yes, there's limited room. I understand where you're coming from there. What shorts do I recommend for racing? I'm really enjoying the half tights, the Aero Swift ones. They work really well. Great pocket room. They've got like kind of 4 pockets you can put gels into or keys or whatever, and they wash incredibly well, dry quickly. So they're my favourites. I wouldn't mind getting another pair of the split shorts, but I'd probably have to go for the slightly longer ones this time because they just look ridiculous on me if I get the shorter ones. I just look like I'm wearing a pair of Speedos or something. And nobody wants to see that. No one. Nobody at all. Especially me. Derek says he loves his Boston 10, so ideal long run shoe for me. Yeah, they softened a little bit, but I just find them really clunky, and I just think the rods make no difference to me at all whatsoever. But I'm glad you're enjoying them, Derek. I'm glad some people are enjoying that shoe. I don't get any kicks out of like saying, I don't like the shoe. I mean, I bought that with my own cash. It's not like someone sent it to me for review. I don't need to say anything wonderful about anything at all. If it doesn't work out, then I'll let you know. But yeah, the Boston just didn't really work out for me. Russell Butt says 295 for the Alphaline Next Nature. They're having a laugh. Yeah, I think they are, Russell. They are having a laugh at our expense. Final couple of questions, guys, and I've got to make tracks and get this video sorted for you guys. Derek says, what year is the R2-D2? He is a Hoover. He is an R2-D2 Hoover, USB. I think I've had him a few years now. Robin says, what gels do I use? Science in Sport is my favourite. At the moment, I really like the vanilla flavour. But yeah, I kind of like I think it's Fruit Salad is best. That's the most viscous one. You can almost use that as a drink as well. So that's my favourite. Russell Butt says, genuine question. So much effort for your pre-half prep. Stats on shoes, comparing the shoes, checking the weather, but then a gig late on the night before. How do I justify that? Because I like playing music. That's how I justify that. Absolutely. Very simple. It's something I love doing and I love running, and yeah, I needed to do that because it was part of my job, so I had to do that. Right, guys, I'm going to sign off here. If you've got any questions I haven't managed to get round to, do post them in the comments once the live stream's finished. I'll try and get round to those for you. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us here today. Always giving you my honest answers as per usual. Video up later on. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.